So it sounds like the superintendent did no research into this.
I have an answer for that.
At all.
I have an answer for that. So the answer to that question was, and this was on the superintendent side, well, we have aides on the buses that are trained to do insulin, stuff like that. But what stuck out to me was they don't even.
So really? So
that's
every
what he said.
aide.
No, he didn't say every aide. He said we'd have aides that are certified to be able to do that.
Okay, so where are we? So we're hiring more aides
I don't
that
know.
now have to be certified.
I know.
Like what?
I know Grant County has aides.
Yeah.
I don't know if
And
every.
I bet you every single one does not know how to
Oh
administer.
no. I agree with you. The way that he laid it out was we'd bring a specialist in an aide that was certified to do
So we're
it.
hiring more people
No, we're not hiring more people, JR.
to get rid of the people.
We're not hiring more people,
to
JR.
hire more people. Let me tell you, he has no knowledge of how to run anything. They really should.
When I left, and I didn't know, I still don't know the guy. All I know is that we got a call that he, in Mineral County, he hired a past superintendent that was arrested for solicitation.
Yes.
That's anything we got told about.
So
about Dilly.
we know his hiring practices.
So yeah, he was trying to hire a past superintendent that got arrested for solicitation in Charleston.
Yeah.
Apparently, these meetings in Charleston must be.
We've got to go.
Don't tell our wives we're going to go.
Yeah. You know, if we get hired by the school, $10,000, we don't have to report it.
Listen, that's only in Randolph County. I mean,
yeah.
Grant doesn't. Have
Grant
that.
doesn't.
I've not asked Hardy if they do. So, so that was one of the things about they didn't know if any of the kids had a disability of being diabetic or not. The other thing that came up was, and it just left my head.
Look at your notes. Is it on your notes?
I don't know. I just had it in my head and it just left me. So they want to get more money for their schools. The waivers. So the bus waivers, right? So the head of transportation, I think, did I say Nick Alfred?
Yeah.
I think that's right. He gave the new bus routes more on parents having to drive their kids for them to get under 50 minutes. But then
50
under 60 minutes. I'm sorry.
It's not 60.
Well, it's supposed to be different for every age.
Elementary school is 30 minutes.
That's what I was told.
No, that's from the state. I called the state on that.
Okay.
30 minutes.
So what he was trying to do was 60 minutes. And so I'm not sure everything behind that. But one of the Board of Education members, great question, have you got a waiver for if we go over 60 minutes? No. We need to apply for one. Okay. But he showed the existing bus routes in Harman being like 70 minutes, 80 minutes. And someone said, do you have waivers for these? He's like, no, they were grandfathered in. So supposedly they're already on the bus for 70 minutes now. And I reached out to the bus drivers to ask if that's true.
Harman?
Now, remember, there's 3 bus routes. One goes up to Tucker County line. The other goes up to the Pendleton County line, up Allegheny Mountain. Mm-hmm. Then the other goes to Whitmer and back, and then towards Elkins. So I did reach out to ask them, but it was like when they asked them, well, do you have waivers for your bus routes now? They're like, no. And then they said, well, one bus route's 95 minutes, and that was from a school that closed on the south side of Randolph County. Do you have a waiver for that? No, we are grandfathered in. So some of the questions, some of the answers were just I think he was making it up. I don't think he was very honest with it. And how he kind of prefaced stuff to the Board of Education. I said, how can they make good decisions with him giving them this information? He's not honest. He's not transparent. He tells Mike Ross, I can't vote on a pipe dream, but everything he tells them, the Board of Education, is a pipe dream. It's all hypothetical. So when I left last night, because we were probably hard on the board. We were hard on the board initially. And the more I've got to know the board, the more I've got to see the personalities. I'm like, the way he frames stuff. And I've listened to some of the board meetings, and when they get votes, he doesn't tell. It's like, first off, they hand out the information that night. Here's your packets. They don't get time to really look into it, ask questions, and he just frames it to make it sound, oh no, we're fine. And so something. And I don't know if that's every superintendent. I know that Grant County, he went to certain training to learn. It was called how to keep the narrative.
Yeah,
or something.
how to change the narrative.
Yeah. So I'm assuming they're taught to do that. But I would not want to be a Board of Education member because of the way the information they're given and they have to make a decision and they're in front of people. I mean, it's a lot of intimidation and a lot of half truths. So I feel bad for them, but I think they made the right choice.
You got to dig though. I mean,
you have to. And listen, I emailed yesterday Dilly and I copied Rachel and Brad. And I said, who makes a decision for this meeting to be on tonight? Who makes that decision? Because the state is telling us, we got two different things from the state. Both said it's done locally. One said the County Board of Education, one just said locally. So I said, who makes it? His email to me didn't answer my question. In accordance to blah, 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 this is a local decision. I said, I'm not asking that. Who makes a decision? Like, no one wants to take blame for it, right?
Yeah.
God forbid someone have an accident coming to it and we get hurt. We don't want to be sued. But when you ask questions, it's like you ask this and you get this answer over here. It's just not very transparent.
No.
Which really, really worries. I feel bad for the Board of Education members having to vote off of what they're saying. I don't think it's honest. I really don't. That's my opinion, but dealing with them, I just shake my head. I'm like, so.
Yeah. Yeah, because I called the state yesterday as the news organization to get the lowdown. And they're like, oh, no, we've heard. And they're like, we don't do anything. That is local decision. That is on the local. Oh, you got something?
This is a good one. We talk about levies because his 5-year plan is in 2026 to get a bond, right? And so this is what he said. When I'm talking about just being dishonest, I wrote it down. Randolph County does not want to invest in their children. I want to raise my hand and say they already give 60% of their property taxes to the school. What do you mean? You have $55 million tax dollars. They don't want to invest in their children? He said that.
We heard that
blows my mind.
From Grant County. Remember?
They don't want to invest in the
You
kids.
don't care about the kids if you don't vote this levy through.
Oh, my God.
I
wrote that down. I'm like, this is such a dishonest statement.
No, we don't want to invest in you and your lousy ideas.
Well, that's the problem. It comes down to leadership.
And your $100 and some $1,000 salary that you get a 5 to 6% raise on every year, guaranteed.
Yeah, $5,000 raise a year.
Yeah.
So I wrote that down because when he said that, I'm like, of course you can't say anything, but I'm like, that's not honest. That is not honest.
What people are
60%.
tired of is investing more and more and more money for it to go wasted.
Well, they're 54th of 55 counties. And a young man from Elkins was one of the last speakers, and he got up because Dilly is saying it's going to affect Elkins. If we don't close these schools, it's going to affect all the kids. We may have to get rid of math and music, and he gives this whole long list, which is such a misleading list because they're pro officers. Well, first off, the pro officers are paid very little bit from the county, the Randolph County. They're paid for, and I talked to the sheriff about it. He was there last night. We pull in 7 sheriff vehicles in front of the school. 7 sheriff vehicles.
Yes, because he was threatened.
Yes. I told him I'd be his bodyguard.
I thought Napoleon wasn't afraid of anything.
Well, he was very I asked, I said, do you want me to be your bodyguard? And he said, no, it's my staff. So anyway, they had 7 cop cars. So I went and asked one of the sheriff deputies. I'm like, how many sheriff deputies cars do you have in Randolph County? Because there's 7 out in the parking lot. He's like, there's 20 some. But so there was a load of cops there, which was funny.
I still say we should he should have to say where he got these death threats from.
Well, I didn't ask the sheriff, but I should have, and I don't know if it was death threats. It was.
That's what he said.
Well, he said
he said death threats is what he said.
I don't know if he said death threats. He said there was threats made, I think. Threats to him and the staff. But when I said, you want me
him to hold him accountable for his bad decisions and lies?
Well, when I said, do you want me to be your bodyguard? He's like, it was my staff that needs help. So anyway, he said the county does not want to invest in the children, in their education, in their children, which blew me away because they get $50 million of tax dollars. Now, the COVID money goes away, so that'll probably be $10 million lost. They get a load of money. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's so disingenuous. That's so dishonest.
Which 87% of that 50-some million dollars is just just pay.
Staff. 82%, I think is the exact number. He said 85 last night. I was told 82. But that's a big number.
That's a huge number.
One thing I found, and I'm going through it now, I was given their pay of their staff. And I verified it with what was given to the state, and Brad sent me information. So I'm going through the financials line by line, and then their stipends. I'm like, Brad, what is this? He's like, well, that's extra they get paid. I said, is that not included in what you sent me? He's like, no, that's extra. So now I'm going, and so now remember how we said the median income of a board office person was like $65,000, and the county was like $49,000. Now I'm finding stipends. So now I got to go through that. Oh my God. So here's the issue. Here's what we have to do to fix it. And I'm glad that they voted no to close the school. But this is going to come up again. I'm just telling you. Because they're convinced. I mean, obviously, Dilly lost his attempt to do his 5-year plan. I don't know if he'll get hired by Kanawha County now, from what I was told. But I said last night to the businessman, I said, listen, this is good, but we got to fix the problem. Even if the state, because some people came and said it's the state of West Virginia, it's legislation, they're not giving us money.
And I talked to the legislature, and they said
we give them more money every year.
More money every year. They need to learn how to spend it correctly.
And I believe that. So we need to figure out a way. There's 2 issues. Number one, and I'm dedicated to doing what I can, because Dilly kept saying, I've met with businessmen, and none of it's sustainable. He's met with businessmen. He's never once asked, what would you do? Here are my finances. He's never done that. He's met with the businessman to tell them his 5-year plan, to sell them on his plan.
Yeah, well, they don't want to show their finances, because then you find out all the mismanagement of their finances.
And you have to dig and dig and dig. And trust me, it's a lot of digging.
They're not coming out and going, now we pay him $60,000 and give him another $60,000 in a stipend. No, they don't tell you that. No. They're like, oh, he only gets $60,000.
You have to dig to find the truth.
Yeah.
But he didn't ask a businessman. When I met with them, with the past president of the Davis Hospital, he sat and told us his 5-year plan. That's all he talked about. Here's my 5-year plan. Here's what we're going to do. So I told the businessman last night, this is a good start. We need to help him financially. And I'm not a fan of taxes. I hate taxes. Even if the state of West Virginia said, we'll give you $1 million because of how your county set up. We'll give you $1 million to help out. I would tell the county, I'll give you $1 million if you reduce your expenses by 25%.
Yeah.
You reduce your expenses by 25%, I'll give you $1 million, because that has to be done.
How about we don't waste money on a football field?
Well, that actually, I was told that it was donated money, but then I found out it was $1.1 million.
Yeah.
I got the email on that, but there's listen, and some guy was upset about, he was there, wanting the schools to close because of Elkins. Like, I'm in this massive auditorium. Grant County doesn't have an auditorium like that. It was a beautiful auditorium. They had a nice school. I don't care how old it was. It was a nice school. I went to Petersburg in '96. I graduated, so that was.
But they're talking about how it's the scores. It's Harman. We close it. Even if you take the Harman kids and you put them in Elkins, and they're not, but let's just say, and I love the people of Harman, let's just say it's all the people in Harman that are dumb. Well, we're going to move them to Elkins. Your scores are still going to be the same. But the whole thing is, those 100 kids are not pulling you down to next to last in the state?
It was 54, 55. I wanted to tell the guy, like I said, you can't talk.
It's Elkins that is pulling them down too.
This guy is like, listen, I'm just saying, because you're 122 of 122, that bus ride isn't going to make your scores worse. I want to see him say, listen, you get rid of these 100 kids, you're still 53rd out of 55. You're not geniuses here.
Yeah.
You're struggling. So there's 2 things. Number one, fixing the financial issues. And I talked about a past superintendent who walked into a deficit and fixed it over a couple of years. We need someone who has that mindset. Dilly doesn't have that mindset. Dilly's all about Dilly. He's arrogant. He's all about himself, and that's not good for a leader.
I think
that's
they
very destructive.
Really need to figure out a way to terminate his contract.
I agree. It'd be the best thing for Randolph County. You need a leader who, it isn't about me and my career. That's one thing my company is not very fond of me about. I'm not looking to make a name. I'm not looking to move up. I'm like, no, I'm okay. And so normally companies use that to like incentivize you. Well, Justin, you do this, you can be I'm okay. So they need someone who is okay with where they're at, not trying to make this next move so I get them more money. They need someone who cares about the kids and puts the kids first. And that's not the superintendent.
They need someone who who feels the pulse of Randolph County as well.
The whole county. Because the county, listen, I'm telling you, we work up in Baird. Baird's different than Petersburg.
Yeah.
And Harman's different than Elkins.
And poor Baird is just like an afterthought.
For Grand County.
I bet you the bulk of Grand County citizens don't even know that there are 2 mayors in Grand County. I bet you they have no clue.
I don't live in Grand County, but I didn't know that until 2-3 years ago.
I did simply because of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Your mayors have a vote in the Chamber of Commerce.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a big difference, but you need the right leadership there. You get the right leadership, they can get it figured out. And the fact that we're trying to blame Harman for their scores, that's not a failure of Harman. That's a failure of leadership. If I was a Board of Education member, I'd be saying, we've been talking 6 months about school closures, not about the poor education. What's going on? The fact that teachers in Harman said, we have no support for CSI, we don't get calls about it, we actually call them, asking them to come, that's just dysfunctional. It's almost like he wanted the school to continue to decline so he can make his case, which is so horrible.
It's all about the kids.
It's so horrible.
All about
to
those
imagine
kids.
that a gentleman would want that school and those kids to actually decline is just, that's so unethical, and I hope that's not the case.
I would look for a termination of contract, dereliction of duty, or something.
And I don't have confidence in him after last night and listening to him.
We've been listening to the French government and Canada now.
Our new governor,
Trudeau, resigned. On his own.
Yeah,
I watched a parody. A guy come out and said, "I have decided on my own decision that I am going to resign," because they were going to kick him out anyway.
Yeah.
That's what Dilio. I have decided that I'm going to resign this position.
Listen,
no, we're going to vote you out.
He may resign because he didn't get his 5-year plan. And like I said, the Kanawha thing, that's an inside source who said that's what they heard. I don't know if that's true. This is what we were told. So who knows?
There's always quid pro quo. Follow the money for everything.
Agreed. So
anyway. Well, I'm happy. I'm glad the Board of Education did the right thing. And I know they're going to say, well, you think it's the right thing because it's what you wanted. But the fact of the matter is, for the kids, it was the right decision. Yep. And that's what this is truly about. And that's why our mom ran for Grand County Board of Education, because she truly wanted to make it about the kids. And these people don't make it about the kids. They say it is, and it's not. It's always something self-serving, and I don't like that.
I was shocked last night. I think they made the right vote, and I got to say this. I'm going to say what the sports figures say, and then they get kicked off the stage. But listen, it was an answer to prayers. I mean, really, Harman.
I want to thank God.
Harman, and we were all praying, and we're like, God, you got to touch people's hearts. This isn't the right thing. And I was blown away. I was like, wow, because we preached.
You don't believe God answers prayers?
No, I believe He answers prayers, but I know also He's not my Santa Claus, right? And so I don't go to Him because I want something to turn out my way. But New Year's Eve, I spoke and I said, listen, I'm going to tell you how good God is. And God was very good last night. And I was shocked. And I've got texts. God is good. We're praying, and we're going to try to figure out what to do. Maybe some celebration, Harman or something. So I'm beyond excited, but we can't stop.
No,
we have to be organized. We have to help the school. We need to figure out how we can help them with the kids, the education, what we need, because education doesn't just happen in the school. It happens at the house as well. So, with our daughter, she goes to public school, but we just don't say, okay, good luck. We have to get the parents involved to help out. I do think that's part of it.
And any of the board members that want to reach out, that want to know our research and things that we found, we'll show them.
Yeah.
Because we've discovered a lot of ways where they can cut costs in the finances.
Yeah. Well, first thing is, I do think you have to take his $10,000 spending ability.
Yeah.
So,
no, not just his. Trips, any trip.
But I understand. The challenge is right now he's allowed to do trips because of his $10,000.
Yeah.
You take that away. That way, everything comes before the board.
Yeah.
And so I think if virtual school is okay for our kids, it's okay for the adults that need to learn virtually.
Yeah.
Instead of going and being the party girls in Charlestown or whatever they're called.
My wife,
do it virtually.
She does. They'll say, no, they're nice. They're like, do you want to go to Charleston? She's like, no, we'll just do it. Can we do this one virtually?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's just sign up. We'll Zoom it.
Yeah.
And,
if virtual isn't good enough for our kids, it needs to be good enough for our adults. That's a good way. There's ways to save money. There is definitely ways to save money, and that's what we're being told by legislation. Listen, we're giving them money. They're just spending it haphazardly.
Well, I was talking to a council person last night, and when I told them their budget was $50-some million, they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." Yeah, because we thought it a lot when Grant County was 21 or 22.
That $55 million, now that's with COVID money, so I'm sure it'll probably back down to 40-something, I'm assuming.
Well, COVID money was supposed to be spent by September.
That was the budget for this.
That shouldn't have been on the budget because it had to be spent by September.
Listen, I had to look at it. I don't think every year it's 55 or close to 55. I'm sure there's some adjustment with the COVID money.
What did they get in COVID money?
20-some million, I think. I'm going from memory because we do.
How is that decided by person? How many people were in each county?
The state gave it to the federal government, gave it to the state, and then the state made that assumption. Is my guesstimation. I'm
How
guessing.
many does Randolph have in it?
People or school?
People.
30,000, I think.
30,000. What's Grant?
15.
15.
Round numbers. Hardy's 15-ish. Grant's 15-ish.
So
30.
they got over double the amount Grant did, and don't have over double the population.
But it depends how many kids are in the school. So they had 30. Now they're at 36. But 5 years ago they were at like maybe 4,000.
4,000, and Grant was at 2. So still double.
I don't remember what
they
Grant
got
was.
over the double amount of money Grant County got. I'd love to know how that was decided.
I don't know. They have a little surplus, obviously. They're gonna, because their general fund, they paid for some teachers and some staff from the COVID money to help out. But yeah, it was a nice, man. Listen, if it wasn't for Grant County getting the levy, we'd be having this conversation about Union.
Yeah,
100%.
Oh, I know it.
100%.
Yeah, I know it.
100%. Because
Matter
that
of fact,
levy kept them going.
One of the people said when the levy does not get passed a year, Grant County's going to be in the exact same position.
Yeah.
Now it might take a little longer because they're building up their money.
Their general fund.
They're building that up.
But listen, they're also spending it.
Yeah,
they're giving raises. Randolph County is giving raises. Teachers are now saying we need money because our insurance went up. And when I heard that, I'm blown away by that.
Nothing against teachers.
I'm blown away by that.
I am so disgusted when I hear we need to go on strike again because they raised our insurance. And I'm thinking, my insurance rates are constantly raising, and we don't even get a raise.
I would love to talk to my company and say, listen, my insurance went up by $1,500 this year. I need a raise to cover that.
Yeah.
They look at me and they say, yeah, you go earn it. You go sell more.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was a bit shocked by that. But so yeah, so two things. I'll finish that up. Spending, and number 2, education. We have to find a way to be more effective. Superintendent thinks it's by spending more money. I hate to tell him that is such a false thing. That's not true. Makes you feel good when you throw money at something, but it's like my son. My ex-wife likes to throw money at his challenges with ADD, ADHD, or whatnot, and just give more medicine. That's not the solution. Now you have a kid who takes 4 pills a day. He can't sleep at night because he's on meth, whatever that pill is. So that's the easy way to do it. Just throw money at it.
He hasn't lost his teeth yet.
No. I'm still feeding him well. I'm trying to feed him well, but that's the challenge, though. Throw money at it. It doesn't fit. That's not going to fix it.
No, but here's the thing. What you find out is they never actually throw the money at the education.
Yeah, it's at support staff and people.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to fix it. If the superintendent has one of the worst schools in the state, and he's only been there once by invitation in 6 months, he doesn't care.
So we have to give props where props is due, okay? Because we're fair. That's something the Grant County superintendent was up in Union.
He was pushing that,
the whole time trying to get that fixed. Well, so we give props.
It's a reflection on him, and we've always said it. It all rises and falls on leadership. But the fact that the superintendent of Randolph County has not been there, like, let me see the program. What are you doing? Even if it's just meeting with the principal,
Even if it's just calling every day or once a week.
Well, maybe he does. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you need this? What do you need? Let me give you my resources. I will, we'll send anything we need to get down to you. We're going to bring this up. No, it's, hey, by the way, we're going to have a vote and we're going to close your school.
No. He calls and says, don't comment on Facebook about the vote, about the closing of schools. Yeah. And a like is a comment. Yet his wife commented, and it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, if he had told me that as a staff, I would have slapped him with a lawsuit 5 ways from Sunday.
Dude.
I would have said, go ahead, try me. I'll see you in court. We'll bring it all out in court.
The teachers' union was there last night.
That teacher should have went to the teachers' union and said, this is what's happening.
Teachers' union was there last night.
But the teachers, we're finding out the teachers' union for the state does not have the best interests of the teachers.
Well, what the lady said last night was, if you close schools, I'd rather you close schools and let 30-some people off. That was her thing. But I sat there and saying, you still, the number was, if we close schools, we're still letting 22 people off. That was between Harman and Pickens. And I'm sitting here saying, you just said you don't want to let people go. Rachel, the president, saying you can't let people go. You're still going to let 22 people go. Yeah. What am I missing? You're still going to let people go.
I don't think they're that smart to catch it. It's all in there. So there's 2 choices. Rachel is either dumb or she just doesn't want, she's pushing a narrative.
I don't think she's dumb. I mean,
then she's pushing a narrative.
I think she's pushing the superintendent's narrative.
You're letting teachers go.
Well, the thing is, I thought, because they acted like they didn't know that information. I'm like, did he not tell him? I mean, I knew that information.
I just assumed everyone in Randolph County watched our podcast.
We're not that popular because we're doing this just for our podcast. I was told that.
Yeah.
Because we make millions.
Hey, that 16 cents bought me.
I can't even go to McDonald's for 16 cents.
I remember when 16 cents you could go at least. They had penny
slots.
Yeah, penny slots.
You go to Charlestown and do penny slots.
I'm old. You could get a piece of gum for a penny.
I remember the penny machines. I remember it was a guy down in Columbia Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
In Cumberland, Maryland. The guy right down from our house. We go do the penny machines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, baseball cards. That was good old days when things were cheap. Now they just want to do extra taxes and more levies and the businesses keep raising their prices.
Talked to a citizen yesterday in Grant County. Said hi. How you doing? Just was driving. And he said, good. Where are you going? I said, we're going up to Elkins to help with the Harman school. And he said, oh, you causing trouble? I said, well, listen, they're trying to shut down schools and then raise a bond. He's like, they want more taxes. I said, of course they do. Just so you know, I voted no for every tax. I'm tired of it, and I heard the city's trying to tax me. I'm tired of extra taxes.
People are done.
They're was like,
done.
I'm tired of extra taxes. And here's the funny thing about it is inflation has been hard, very hard. And it was even with the school. I'll give the school credit. Inflation's not been inexpensive. We gave 300 hot dog buns to the Harman school after New Year's Eve. And the principal and the staff was so appreciative of it. And they're like, thank you so much, because we were going to have to go buy more. and I'll talk to you afterwards, but I have a invite for you.
Oh, gosh.
I'll talk to you afterwards. But they're like, oh, my God, just the cost of stuff. It's through the roof. So I get that. Things are expensive, and inflation that's something I don't think Trump's going to be able to lower costs. I'm hoping he gives us more take-home money.
Well,
hoping he helps us with taxes.
Here's the thing, and sometimes you got to pull the Band-Aid off real fast. If he puts tariffs on to get stuff off, it's going to raise prices.
But it didn't raise prices when he was in office and did it 5-6 years ago. Prices were down.
Well, no, because a lot of them went and were like, okay, we'll take care of the issue.
No, he still did billions of dollars of tariffs on China.
On China.
Yeah, which is our number. That's our number. Yeah, but China's our number one. It's our number one importer is from China. Yeah. So
I wouldn't. It's a trade off. If they closed off China and we did it here locally, you have
prices would be higher.
Amazon striking. You do realize that the port workers are coming up because that was pushed to January.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going to happen with that. They wanted an extra 30 or 40% raise, and I'm like,
it was mass.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So But kudos to the Board of Education for putting the kids first.
Very, very pleased. I thought that was the right decision. So, agreed.
Explore Randolph County. Good luck to Pickens tonight.
Yep.
Hope it turns your way as well.